Q2, we're learning more about the wildland firefighting pilot that lost her life while battling a blaze near Helena. Love those details. Plus, beating the heat.
Very refreshing. The hotter the weather, the better it feels.
We'll venture to a warm spring, going out and about to a hidden gem just outside of Lewistown. And living a dream.
Because I know there's so many people who would love to be in that position, and to be a part of it, to go to the Olympics, to be in the village, to hopefully play, compete for a medal it's like nothing else.
One Montana athlete will once again be competing on the biggest stage at the Olympics. The MTN 430 News starts right now. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Russ Riesinger. We've learned that 24 hours after a man was killed and a park ranger injured during a shootout in Yellowstone National Park, another park worker is arrested for also making shooting threats. 55-year-old Robert Sherman is charged with disorderly conduct. Police say during a disagreement with another employee at the Roosevelt Lodge dining room, he said, quote, "Maybe the next shooting should be here." Sherman, a Xanterra employee, admitted to investigators he took food from the dining area, which he knew he isn't supposed to do. But when another employee confronted him about it, he admitted to making the threat. The incident happened 24 hours after park rangers killed Samson Fussner near the Canyon Lodge when Fussner had fired a rifle toward a cafeteria that was filled at the time. Sherman is in jail in Mammoth. One of Brazil's first female egg and fire boss pilots is identified as the person who died during a plane crash while fighting a fire near Helena. 45-year-old Juliana Turchetti was flying an air tanker out of Idaho and crashed near Hauser Lake. She was helping to fight the Horse Gulch fire at the time of her death, but it's still unclear how that plane went down. In a joint statement, the governors of Montana and Idaho said they were deeply saddened to learn of her passing. The Lewis and Clark County Sheriff says Turchetti was living in Illinois on a visa and worked as a pilot for Dauntless Air. And that fire has now grown to nearly 8,000 acres burned, forcing several evacuation orders. Unfortunately, fire danger will only increase with these scorching hot temperatures. With a first look at the weather on this Thursday, here's meteorologist Jason Stiff.
Yeah, definitely hot outside, and we've been flirting with a lot of record highs in many parts of central and eastern Montana as well as northern Wyoming. Now, currently Billings has not reached record levels just yet. We've already at least tied records in Livingston as well as in Sheridan at 98 and 101 degrees respectively. Close to it both in Miles City and Billings, both at 99 degrees thus far, but we don't have the record highs not until the top of the hour. And Baker has also tied a record high at least. Currently 99 degrees. So when we have this kind of heat, what do you got to do? Well, do what you can during the early morning hours before it really gets hot outside. Make sure you never leave pets or kids in the car. Drink plenty of water. Please do not cause any fires either, because they're going to spread quickly with all this heat and dry fuel on the ground. And wear that light and light colored clothing as well. We're not done with this heat yet, but we also have some more smoke in the air. Complete 7-day forecast with more details coming up in just a few minutes.
With all this heat, it might sound nice to find a place to cool off. In this Out and About, our Haley Monaco takes us to a warm spring outside Lewistown where the views are beautiful and the clear water is a refreshing relief on a hot day.
Out and About is sponsored by Garden Avenue Greenhouse and Garden Center.
Filled with crystal clear water, this hidden gem in Lewistown is the perfect place to be on a hot day.
And don't let the name deceive you.
Here at the gigantic warm spring.
It's not warm. It's 68 degrees all the time year round.
So maybe not so warm, but on a scorching day, the cool water is welcomed.
But on a hot day, it's very refreshing.
With stunning views and glass water, it's a popular spot for many locals.
Oh, I was a little kid, probably 8 years old or something. Came out here with my parents at first.
And the oasis is bubbling with history.
My grandmother, Marie Vanek, she sat at the booth up there all summer long and just collected from people that came down. I was born here, raised here. My grandfather bought this in 1938.
The spring sits on land owned by the Vanek family, who opened it to the public in the early 40s.
I found a sign up in one of the buildings, the handmade sign, that said admission 10 cents per car. So if that gives you any idea of what the time period, it was a long time ago.
While the price has increased slightly, $5 for adults and $3 for kids, it's a bargain to visit the self-proclaimed largest warm spring in the world.
It's close, it's cheap, and it's pretty nice.
It's a fantastic opportunity for people to come out here and cool off, especially on a hot day like this.
A hidden gem, one that locals take pride in, and hope you will too if you make the trek down the dirt road to the Vanek's Paradise Ranch.
It's just a beautiful place, and keep it beautiful.
In Lewistown, Haley Moss.
The department tells us that this morning, Chief Rich St. John underwent surgery after suffering a heart attack Sunday. Chief suffered the health scare while vacationing in Red Lodge with his family, but noticed his symptoms, drove himself to the hospital to get checked out. He is expected to make a full recovery. St. John, who is in his mid-60s, was named chief back in 2005. Assistant Chief Neil Lawrence is the acting chief in his absence. President Biden is holding a news conference right now as the NATO summit ends in Washington. That speech comes as questions about his candidacy continue to mount. Joe St. George looks at the pressure on Biden to perform and how rare these particular events are for the president.
Thursday marks another critical day for President Biden, 2 weeks after his debate performance sparked concerns within the Democratic Party about his candidacy.
I'm with Joe.
He's all in.
He is a fighter.
While top Democrats are still standing by the president, skepticism looms large about whether he can win in November.
Donald Trump is on track, I think, to win this election and maybe win it by a landslide.
Thursday evening, President Biden will hold a solo press conference at the NATO summit, his first opportunity since the debate to take questions from the White House press corps. His physical health will be a major topic. According to analysis by the American Presidency Project, President Biden has held 14 solo press conferences during his first 3 years in office. Former President Trump held 9 during that same time frame. Trump did, however, give more television interviews than President Biden. Former President Obama held 29 solo press conferences in his first 3 years in office.
It's not Biden's forte.
Alan Lichtman is a presidential historian who has correctly predicted the winner of 9 of the last 10 presidential elections and says there is pressure on President Biden Thursday to perform well.
Biden is old, and he's not quick on his feet. He's never been all that good, responding quickly to questions.
Lichtman is critical, however, of Democrats who are calling on the president to step aside. Debates rarely, in the end, impact an election, Lichtman says, and his model is still predicting a Biden win.
What all of these people have in common who are trying to push Biden out of this race is they have zero track record in actually predicting elections.
In recent days, though, political analysts have shifted a number of key states to favor Trump in the fall. The Cook Political Report has shifted Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia from toss-up states to lean Republican states. Joe St. George, Scripps News, Washington.
Well, the 2024 Paris Olympics are just a few weeks away, and for one Whitefish native, this won't be her first rodeo when it comes to competing on the biggest stage. MTN's Kyle Hansen shares her story.
Growing up in Whitefish, Montana, Nicole Haverland remembers a fun childhood full of outdoor activities with her family.
I go back to the days like growing up in Montana and just being so grateful for my childhood. My parents did everything they could to put us in the right schools, put us in the right sports, but we were nonstop when we were young.
But there's one vivid memory from her youth that stayed with her.
We actually didn't grow up, with cable for a long time when in Montana. But when we did watch TV, it was the Olympics. So that's really special. Remembering that as a little girl and then now being a part of it.
It's a fitting memory for the Montanan. And now, for the third time in her decorated career with the Team USA Rugby 7 squad, Haverland is headed to the Summer Olympics to compete. Haverland first went as an alternate in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, then again made the team and played every minute in the 2021 Tokyo Games. Now, she's headed to Paris.
For me, it's impressive because I know there's so many people who would love to be in my position, and to be a part of it, to go to the Olympics, to be in the village, to hopefully play, compete for a medal it's like nothing else. And there was no guarantee I would make it, but it was just each day doing everything I can, putting my best foot forward.
Haverland will be an alternate for Team USA and will get to do and take in everything the Olympics have to offer. To compete at the highest level in world-class cities like Rio, Tokyo, and now Paris, it's an accomplishment that can't be understated for an athlete from a town of around 9,000 people in northwest Montana.
It's super amazing to think back on it, like to represent your country really for 10 years, 10 seasons, and now 3 Olympics is unbelievable. I have so much gratitude, and I've been fortunate to travel the world. I've had it really good, and I've met a lot of great people, but it doesn't feel like I'm done just yet.
Having traveled the world in her rugby career, Haverland has seen it all on and off the pitch. And she said it's about enjoying the moments and the opportunities she experiences. But the goal is always to succeed and bring home hardware for the USA, with eyes on earning a medal and also on growing the sport back home in the States.
We have so much leverage, like, to grow this sport in America. Like, the goal is little girls and little boys grow up in America wanting to become rugby players, instead of saying, I want to be a basketball player, I want to be a soccer player. Like, that's what the goal is. And I think if we win a gold medal, like, it's only going to grow this sport even more.
Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Still to come on the MTN 430 News here on Q2, off-road racing is picking up speed across the area. We look into the reasons why in just a bit. But first, temperatures rising to near record levels today. Jason is in next with the full 7-day forecast.